Welcome to the Southern California San Diego section football podcast. Tommy, Noah, and Christian here at Granite Hills High School. We got a special guest with us, don't we?
You go ahead and introduce yourself.
I'm David Tyler Gonzalez with Granite Hills High School, number 28. I play running back and defensive end.
And everything else in between. Asked you to play. Have you lined up at quarterback yet here?
Not this year. Last year I did.
Okay, so you have done it though. You have done it. He was in our top 50 countdown this year, and he's living up to it. I mean, we'll get to some of the Granite Hill stuff though, because Tommy, one last week of this season, we got top 10s. Not much has changed.
No.
Torrey Pines came very close to just taking a gas can of the whole thing. But one or two teams moving up and down.
Yeah, so here you go. Here's our top 10, starting with number 10. It's Point Loma. Number 9, Saints. 8, Madison. 7, LCC. 6, Bishops. 5, you just talked about them, Torrey Pines. 4, San Marcos. 3, Ramona. 2, Helix. I thought this would be the Weaver. Maybe it was going to switch. It did not. And number 1 still is Mission Hills. And I counted properly this week, so I'm kind of proud of myself.
And I just want to point out, for those of you that are curious about it, of all the voting we've got, 1 through 6 are separated by about 3 votes. You know, Helix and Mission Hills are a vote apart. Ramona's only 2 votes behind. So this is something that, while we're trying our best to get this right and or apparently disrespect certain teams and all this is not something that there is not a massive margin between 1 and 6. 7, 8, 9, you can start talking about 3 bad losses, a loss here, a loss that, but 1 through 6 is a deadlock of it could go any way.
All right, should we get on our game balls then?
Hey, I think we got a couple great game balls to give out.
Would you like to do it first?
You know what? On this one, I would. Game ball to La Jolla.
Okay.
Been a while since we've been able to give one of those out.
that was a real fast, real loud one.
Yeah.
But they beat the heck out of Kearney last week, and it wasn't just an offensive showdown. They shut Brenton Bell down, and it was something that I don't think any of us really expected to see. Even the alumni. So that was a good one to win. Then
wait, what game were you at this Friday, by the way?
I was at that game. We also don't talk enough about defense here. I want to give shout outs, game balls to 2 defenses. Steel Canyon, they shut Valhalla out last week. No, that probably makes you moderately happy to hear that happen. And to Rancho Bernardo, they shut Del Norte out last week. So, credit to the offenses, because both those games were lopsided and blowouts, but we don't talk enough about defenses. It's hard sometimes because it's not so flashy that, the pass rush was really good, or that DB didn't get thrown on all game. So you can't really highlight players like that. But shout out to those defenses.
Real quick question, defense or offense? You had to pick one.
Defense.
There you go. See, there you go, Christian. That's the answer you wanted to hear. No, you want to give us your game balls?
Yeah, first I want to give a game ball to Helix's defense. Like Christian said, we're going to talk about defense. You got to talk about defense. They held Grossmont, which is a high-powered offense, Chevelle Sterling, RBU, but they only held him to 3 points. Wow. 3 points. A high-powered spread offense like Grossmont, you hold him to 3 points. That's a big statement win for Helix in a rivalry game to say, hey, San Diego,
dude,
you might want to consider
meets up with Mission Hills in the Open Division Finals.
It looks like that right now, but there's a lot of other good teams.
That's going to be massive
to
see if Olave can cut through that defense.
But Helix, that defense is just amazing. And then DeAndre Daniels, a lot of guys have been saying that we've been sleeping on him. We're not sleeping on him anymore. 5 touchdowns in his win, in their win last Friday.
He might need to be our last RBU.
Yeah, he needs to be on RBU. I'm putting it on this podcast. He needs to be on RBU.
And credit him for stepping up a couple divisions, because he transfers from Horizon last year, and you can sometimes, it's a little bit of a mixed bag when you're playing down at the D5 level. You can get some skill position players that maybe are shining in an environment that they wouldn't shine up at the higher levels. He has stepped right into a open division level schedule and hasn't missed a beat.
Exactly. And then Isaiah Williams, Z4, fear the O, shout out to Lincoln one time. Z4, Isaiah Williams had 3 touchdowns and 200 all-purpose yards. He had touchdowns at running back and receiver. So
what's his nickname?
Z4.
What's Z4?
Isaiah, Z4, Zay with the glow.
But why would they buy a 4? Oh, he's number 4.
Yeah, he's number 4.
Okay, all right.
Hey,
Brandon,
they know now.
And run for a touchdown?
I have.
Yeah, exactly.
And a sack, probably.
And a sack.
So if you're doing all that, you definitely deserve a game ball. And then last but not least, I want to give 10 game balls if I could to this man. Keenan Christian, 279 yards rushing and 3 touchdowns. Earlier in the year, we had an RBU with him, and he said the one game that he was looking forward to this season was Lincoln. And he showed up big. He came to play, even though he said he was going to come to play, and he did, against a team with a Utah commit in Kenyon Sims, a running back cross, a good Lincoln team that.
And let's forget about Montana commit Chris Hicks on that defense though for Lincoln.
And Montana commit, and he came to play. He said, "I'm going to talk the talk, and I'm going to walk the walk." So he deserves all the game balls in the world for that. So much respect for that man, and great game on Friday.
Speaking of RBU people, I want to throw out one more game ball that I forgot to get to. Our very first RBU candidate, Jeremiah Rivera for Hilltop, 348 yards last week versus Sweetwater.
Wow.
RBU.
Okay, well, now you're going to make my game balls look bad that I'm about to give out. But hey, these guys had good weeks as well. Jay Rensfeld from Claremont, 191 rushing yards, 2 touchdowns in their win against Coronado. Chris Brown only took him 12 carries to run for 136 yards and 2 touchdowns in El Camino's win against Carlsbad. Leonard Hoare, I hope I'm saying your name right, H-O-A-R, Hoare, 168 rushing yards and 5 touchdowns for Southwest San Diego in their win against San Ysidro. And finally, all these guys on Tri-City Christian, we had Christian Salibo for 199 yards and 3 touchdowns rushing, Roman Gonzalez 124 yards and a touchdown for Tri-City, and their quarterback Zach Brittmeyer 104 yards rushing.
Wow.
So good job on the
Big
ground.
night.
Yeah, big night on the ground.
Parker.
Big night on the ground.
So speaking of big night, one more week left in the season for you guys. Kind of take us on campus a little bit. What's the thought process for the team right now?
It's just let's get this one more week down. Then we got to start focusing on playoffs. And right now we're just focused on this game, then playoffs, and seeing how that's going to roll out.
It seems like there's been something fun though about this year. A little bit of that magic spark. You got a couple of walk-off wins in the last second. For people that haven't, because there's a lot of games to get to on Friday night, for people that haven't been out here to Granite Hills, why should they come out here on Friday, or why should they follow you guys through the playoffs?
Because we're going to go far. We're a good team. We have 3 potential D1 guys. Garrett Curran, O-lineman, one of the best O-linemen in the county. William Burton, tight end, makes some incredible catches. And we're just an explosive offense, shut down defense.
It seems like the stars are kind of aligning for a great playoff run right now with a great group of seniors.
Favorite moment of the year so far? What has it been?
Being Steel Canyon in the last.
That game was nice.
In the last minute of the game, so we were winning the whole game. Then Steel Canyon scored with like a minute left. We got the ball back, marched down the field, and ended up winning the game.
Yeah, that was nice. I remember that one on Twitter going, what?
That was one of those games. Potential game of the year right there.
You ready to step in as our guest picker for some big games for week 10?
Yeah, let's do it, man.
All right, here we go. Here are the games for this week.
Let's make some people upset, man.
That's what we do. It's what we do on this podcast every single
If my phone would work, sorry. Never take notes on your phone, kids. I always use paper. Here we go. Games to pick this week, starting with the Holy Bowl. It is Saints.
That's where we're starting. Oh my goodness, what a year this is! No, I like this. I like this. That's just what a year it's been. Where let's lead off with the Holy Bowl.
I will go first, and I will say it is going to be a reversal of fortunes from last year. I think Saints will get revenge on Cathedral this year in the Holy Bowl. No, what do you think?
I'm going to go with Saints 2. Angelo Peraza, DeAndre Daniels. I think they're going to keep it rolling for the offense, and the defense is going to come to play. Shout out to Coach Pomato, DB coach, great coach, and Coach Sanchez. They're going to get the game plan to give Saints the win.
Roll Dons. I think that this is one that you cannot, it does not matter what has happened weeks 1 through 9 for this game. Coach Doyle is going to show up with a game plan ready to go. DeAndre Daniels is going to make it really hard for Cathedral, but I think this one is going to be a surprising win for Cathedral.
What do you think?
I kind of agree with you. I don't think this is one that Cathedral's going to lose. So.
All right, so 2 on Cathedral and then 2 correct people going for Saints. Next year we have
what do I know about football?
we have Morris traveling to Lincoln. Again, these are all rivalry games, the last game of the year. I'm going to go with the Hive. I think Lincoln wins this game. No?
I'm going to agree. I'm going to go with Lincoln too. I think they're going to bounce back this week. I think they have a lot to prove after a tough loss against Madison. I think they have, a lot to show. Hey, we lost, but we're going to bounce back. We're still one of the top teams in the county. I think they're going to show that against Morris. But shout out to Martel Irby.
Exactly, man. That's what we really need to talk to.
Is a dog, and we know that.
And he just committed to Arizona. Between our last podcast and this podcast, he committed to Arizona. So another RBU member. Noah,
I'm a proud professor.
I'm a proud professor. Proud professor. I'm going to agree with you guys. This is Lincoln's win. there's just been too many inconsistencies from Morris this year to bank on them. It will be a high-scoring, energetic game on the end by the end of the night, but you just got to think that Lincoln has way too big of a chip on their shoulder not to go get away with a win on this one.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Lincoln. I think that they have better athletes than Morris, and I think that's going to be Lincoln all the way.
All right, next game. Torrey Pines going to LCC.
Ooh.
I'm going to take TP. I think they're going to be very hungry after their 1-point loss to Mission Hills last week again. That was a fantastic game all the way through. So
shout out Coach Gladnick for going for 2 there at the end.
I love it. No, I love it. I absolutely love that call. Had to go for 2
Got a
there.
big old brass set hanging down there for him.
Love that call. I'm going to go with them as well for this week. Know what do you think?
I think we have the same picks. I'm going with Torrey Pines as well. After they had a tough loss to Mission Hills, I think they went back and said, hey, we should be in consideration for that number 1 spot too in the county, and I think they're gonna go out, run the ball like they always do in that high-powered wing T offense. Shout out to the wing T, always love that.
Shout out wing T. Someone didn't play receiver.
And then they're gonna come out and they're gonna get the win on Friday.
I'll play devil's advocate on this one, and I'm going to take LCC. After that loss last week, Torrey Pines a little bit beat up. Their defense was gassed at the end of that one, and not to say that they'll take it easy on a rivalry game like this, but there's a bigger picture here, and Torrey Pines needs to get ready for the playoffs. They know what they're capable of doing, and I think that LCC, we've seen just a weird amount of explosiveness in the passing game that I think will result in them coming away with a close one.
I'm going to go with Torrey Pines. I think that they're going to have a chip on their shoulder because of what happened last week, and I think it's going to be Torrey Pines.
All right, there we go. Last game. Mission Hills on the road again to take on San Marcos. I'm going to say this. I think if their Torrey Pines game was not as close as it was, I think San Marcos upsets them and takes it. But I think that was a big wake-up call for Mission Hills, so I will go with the Grizzlies.
I'm going to go with Mission Hills as well. I think it shows a lot about what their team is like and what kind of character that team has to go and get a 1-point win on the last play. To say, hey, we're the number 1 team when things are going good, and when things are looking a little chippy, we're still the number 1 team. We're going to find a way to win those close ball games, even if we're not playing our best football. So I think they're going to, bounce back, have a much cleaner game than they did last week, and they're going to get a win.
Christian, you're shaking your head.
Speaking of Mission Hills, just want to say shout out Chris Olave for getting a Michigan offer. So he's now got offers on both sides.
Ohio State one, you're gonna get the Michigan one.
Oh man, I like perfection. I like 10-0. I say Mission Hills is gonna get this one unless the only person who handles the ball for San Marcos is Josh Warrens, because he's actually physically impossible to tackle. But no, this is, you got to just think that Olave ain't coming here gonna ball out, and that defense for Mission Hills is really good. This one will be another one where I think San Marcos kind of sees the bigger picture and just needs to feel out what they are and are not capable of going into the playoffs.
Yeah, I think it's going to be Mission Hills. Their defense is just...
It's a bold choice.
Yeah.
It's a risky choice for you there.
All right, there it is. All 4 of us in Mission Hills. So San Marcos, when you win, go ahead and tweet at us and make fun of us, because that's always what happens.
Playoff brackets coming out Saturday.
Ooh, yeah.
Then all hell breaks loose as, the playoffs are always fun. The playoffs are always anarchy. There's always people hurt about what seed they get and all that kind of nonsense. So keep it tuned here for the rest of the week. Check out RBU with these two. And Tom, you got any final notes?
One thing I want to say.
Yeah?
My favorite picture by far on our top 50 list was yours in the game against San Pasquale. I don't even know who you were knocking out. You're knocking someone down. I know you remember. Shout out to Max Reps for taking that picture. I don't know who took the picture, but it is an awesome picture. It is by far my favorite action shot. So congratulations for being photogenic. That's all I got. You guys got anything? All right, we'll see y'all next week when it's playoff time.